Coming up, our panel is here again to take a look at recent news events in Oklahoma, including the big budget shortage. Hello, I'm Sam Jones. You know, words do have meaning, but a great many of us talk retro. That means essentially we use words and phrases from our generation that many times are lost on younger folks and vice versa. For example, how common is it to see a younger person with audio buds in their ears, tuning out the world as he or she listens to something much more pleasurable to them than reality? It also eliminates the need to interact with people around them. Tiny, very tiny audio buds replaced larger headsets or earphones. But why are they called buds? You know, there was a time in this country when buds were the first sign of an approaching spring, a sign of new life in nature. Earbuds? Moving on, there's a local weather person who's given new meaning, I think, to the phrase, be advised. Every time he wants to emphasize something that he considers important, he includes the phrase, be advised, hand to God. I don't know what that means. I really don't. I know what he wants it to mean, but that's not the same thing. Also, on local television weather, folks are fond of their phrase, moving on in or moving on out. Yes, sir, back in the day, there was a writer and talk show host who was a master of the English language. And an hour spent with Dick Cavett was like dining at a five-star restaurant knowing that somebody else was going to pick up the tab. Yale educated, it was very clear he paid attention in class. Plus, you also felt mentally refreshed after his show and many times inspired to learn more. Well, make no mistake, my friends, I too am guilty of butchering our language, but at least I'm not guilty of inventing words or phrases. Now, I am told that our language turns over every 10 years or so, that we jettison much of what we say for much more hip communication structure. Here are some examples, well, serious examples of things you just don't hear anymore, or if you do, you're unsure as to the meaning. For example, little pictures have big ears. Shake a leg. Pert near. G-I-G-O. Shotgun wedding. Pablum, Live or Memorex, and Elmer Gantry. Believe it or not, there was a time when these phrases were as common as download, hard drive, app, and iPhone. Phrases pass with age, and new ones come along to deal with whatever's current. Chances are, though, 10 years from now, we'll all be learning a new set of them. But words do have meaning, as do most phrases. So when somebody says that cold front is moving on in, but tomorrow it's going to move on out, then somebody has a limited vocabulary. Made-up phrases are more common than made-up words. Be advised, for example. When I was much younger, the adults in my family all had a farm connection. From them, I learned that kids were young goats. Today, when most people say kids, they mean children. So depending on how it's used, kids always provides, for me anyway, an unusual mental picture. For example, if they say we have 4 kids, but we only have 5 seat belts in our car, and I immediately wonder what the state trooper says after he walks up to the car and sees a man and woman strapped in the front seat and 4 goats sharing 3 seat belts in the back. Politicians used to be the world's worst for making up phrases and words, but when more and more voters became high school and then college graduates, made-up words sort of fell away. They still make up phrases, though. Gitmo, for example. Obamacare is another. I find that the CBS television network news writers are the best in the business. Charlie Rose is a standout, and there are a few others, but close to home, on the local television affiliates, it's a different story. For example, just a few days ago, a local anchor was interviewing the guest of a cooking show. A cooking show. Now stay with me on this. With a straight face, the local anchor asked the person, so all of the ingredients you're using can be found at the grocery store. Yes, words have meaning. I guess we should add intelligence is also important. Oh, and one more item for your amusement. I truly enjoy hearing a local weather anchor ask a weather spotter, "Where you at?" Makes me feel all warm inside, just knowing that the weather anchor has to be aware all the ingredients can be found at the local grocery store. And that's my perspective. Up next, how will recent events in the news impact you? Our panel will take a look when we come back.